Hey guys, Travis and Rutledge back at Gen Con 2016. I am with Mike and Ty of Bugbear Games. We're about to jump into a gameplay demo of Nephilim Final Judgment. Check it out.
So starting off the game, Hildur goes first. She has the highest initiative. That's the angel chick here. And so she's kind of unique. She can move a little bit faster than most people, which I'm going to take advantage of this one because we've got a lot of spiders here, and they're going to do nasty things if I don't.
We should mention we're jumping into the middle of a scenario in action.
Yeah, this is a mid-scenario in action. A lot of the heroes are actually damaged right now. War is closest to death because she takes a lot of the hits heads on. But other than that, we're still trying to reach the objective of finding Rosie and then deciding what we want to do with her.
All right, so normally you've got 3 actions to move. Obviously it takes 3 to get there, and so I need to spend a little bit of energy to do it. I'm going to actually spend 4, because I can spend 2 each to move 1 square. She can do that up to 3 times in 1 turn, I believe, yeah. And so she'll spend those to go here free, and then I'm going to move into this square using one of my actions. And then she has an ability called, which one is that one I'm doing? Blade Storm. Yeah, so Blade Storm, basically I'm going to exhaust this. That lets her attack everything in the square instead of just 1 like you would normally do. She has a might of 3. I'm using Righteous Ruin here, which this is kind of a unique weapon. Most of them you can only use once. This particular one is a dual weapon. It lets me do it twice.
One important thing to note about this attack she's doing, because she gets to actually attack multiple people in the square, she suffers a penalty for each one in the square. Yeah. So normally she would go off her regular might, but 3 guys in the square, -3. So it's a little bit harder to hit, but she gets to wreak a little bit more havoc.
Yeah, and so hopefully we get lucky with this one because they kind of need to go away.
So is there a miniatures limit per square?
4 per square, or 1 large mini. And the large minis can actually shove around others, which if you choose to do that with War on your turn, you can have some fun with pushing them around.
Yeah. Okay, they have a defense of 10, and so because of the penalty, I'm actually basically just going off for an attack with 1. So I need a 9. Which,
missed by 1.
Oh, I barely missed, yeah. So now I get to feel the pain, which is okay. But I still have 1 more action, so I have the option of still moving once if I want to, which I probably should. Otherwise, she's just going to eat it. Because it's better off having War deal with that kind of stuff. Because he's a bigger threat. They're going to go after whatever the biggest threat is. So I'm going to actually take my last action to move over here, get a bit, which I can pass off to Mo.
So bits are a unique thing for Mo. Mo is a blood mage, and bits are the little things that the enemies leave behind when we kill them. The little icons here, kind of feet, hands, things like that. We don't need to discuss what Mo does to make the magic work while using the bits. It's just something he uses. Now that Hildur is done with her turn, though, we will move on to the spiders. Spiders are next to the initiative order. Each enemy can do 2 things. One is to move 1 square closer to the nearest enemy until they're within range of a primary attack. So with this, all of these spiders here are within range of an enemy, as is this one. The one we have over here that is actually closest to Mo gets to move 1 square. Because each way it would move, either here or here, is an equal distance, we get to choose which way it moves. Now this is important in this instance for one reason. If it moves here, nothing special happens, it just attacks. However, if it moves here to the exposed bystander, all spiders have a special ability that lets them eat any tokens exposed on the board. And since we definitely don't want these guys to get eaten by a spider, I say we let them move over here and save somebody's life.
And they do almost no damage on their own. They kind of have to clump to get nasty.
Right. So now we go with the attack. This spider will attack Mo. The way it works is very simple. They have a range 1. I'm 1 square away. Hits are going to be 1, so I would roll 1 die. We never actually roll for the enemy. It is all proactive for your character, so you never have to worry about a friend taking you out with really high rolls and just getting frustrated with them. So he's going to attack. Every character has a 6-up dodge save. So I need a 6-up to save. I would fail. Now, what is fine and lucky about the spiders is their damage is actually 0, but they have a special effect in their poisonous bite called Massive Dose, which says each one that hits, the next one does 1 more point of damage. So we'll actually jump over here to War being attacked, because that's where it really matters. So War needs to make a 6-up dodge save for this little guy right here. Just 1d6. So that's going to fail. You're hit, but it does 0 damage. But now we move on to spider number 2, and this one is for 1 damage. Again, you got to take that hit. So you have an option. You can either take one of your last 3 wounds, or you actually have these nice set of gauntlets for war over there that you can exhaust and reduce damage by 1.
That sounds like a good idea. I don't want to hit the ground.
All right. And then, unfortunately, there is one last spider here. Make that last save. This
Now
one is
I'm
for
gonna
2
make my roll.
damage.
Here we go. That's
Oh.
exactly the
That is
opposite.
2. Now, War has one ability we've chosen for her, and that is called Practically Armored. You can choose to exhaust that once each turn. This reduces damage by 2, which, luckily enough, keeps you alive here if you choose to do that.
I'd like to stay alive.
Fantastic.
So being the tank, she effectively has 3 armor every turn that she can deal with. So that's why we try to funnel things at her if at all possible.
In case you're wondering why it attacked you instead of the nice little angel back here, you'll notice War has a threat on her card, and this threat in big numbers is 5. The angel only has a
4.
threat of 4. So you're bigger, you're scarier, they go after you. We do have this one last spider that could attack Hildur, but because Hildur is only being attacked by 1, there's really no need to worry about it, right? 0 damage no matter what. So now we can move on to the next person in order, which would actually be initiative 8 for Mo. So I'll go ahead and take Mo's turn. Mo is a very unique character. Mo can do a lot of things that don't actually require actions. For example, I will move 1 space closer here. I will pick these 2 bits up. Now, Mo has an ability. It is a free action called Blood Magic. It lets me spend 2 bits and 2 energy, so it's very costly. But I get to target an enemy within 2 squares, and I can make him attack another enemy. So I could either have this Tesla guy shoot the big guy, or I could have the big guy beat the crap out of the Tesla. The big guy has a bigger chance of killing the Tesla, but he's also nastier. So since you guys are here, what would you rather see happen?
Let's squash that little guy.
All right, so I'm going to roll for the big guy here. I actually used pretty much the same stat line that we'd have for the enemy. So it's range 2, he's within range. Hits 2, so I roll 2 dice. Now, with Blood Magic, it says it hits on a 4-up, so I'll go ahead and roll. 2 hits, each one actually does 3 damage. So the poor Tesla Enforcer with his 2 health is splattered. Now that an enemy goes down, we talked earlier about those nice little bits he leaves behind. And that's a benefit for Mo if I want to get closer. Unfortunately for me, I am a very, very squishy person. I don't take a lot of hits before I go down. So I'm going to use my last 2 actions to run and get help from my allies, because I need you guys to come back me up on this. Now that we've done with that, we're actually going to move on to the Tesla Enforcers. Tesla Enforcers are one of the staples of this game you actually run into. They actually have a max number equal to the number of Nephilim played. They have some nifty abilities, but tend to work best at range. So, over here we have facing the Avatar of Nature, 1 Tesla Enforcer. He has a range 3 on his gun. You're well within range. He has 3 hits for 1 damage each. So, you go ahead and roll 3 dice and you need 6 ups.
Oh boy.
Ooh, that's rough. So, that would be 1 damage each. However, there's an environmental card still in play. And this environmental card is called High Voltage. High Voltage is something that states his cannon damage actually goes up by 1. It is now 2 damage each. Now, you can actually blame Ty for this, because
Good
he'll...
son.
This is my fault. I should have got rid of that card. She has an ability to get rid of 1 environment per turn, and I forgot.
I'm gonna get wrecked.
Yeah, you're going to read. So that's 6 damage. Now, luckily, you have some nature armor here, so you can reduce it by 1, but that's still 5 damage. So go ahead and move that 5 off of your character. Just toss it wherever you want. That's the beating you've just taken. Unfortunately, I made a poor mistake here as well. I moved into line of sight of the next Tesla Enforcer. We've just established what he can do, and that's a big problem. However, I have a human disguise. And a human disguise says whenever I'm taking an attack from a human, I get to increase my dodge save by 1. So I'm actually going to have a dodge save of 5 up. We'll see if this saves me at all.
So is there a reason that it's attacking you and not War?
It cannot
You
see
can
you.
only attack
It's
cardinal.
cardinal.
Got it.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he has something in line of sight, he'll take that rather than moving towards threat.
So I did a little bit better than you. I saved 1 with that 6. However, I'm still taking 4 damage. I have no armor, unlike you. So Mo is down to 3 life, and it could get a little painful here. That is resolved. All our Tesla Enforcers in play have gone. So we're actually going to move on to the Avatar of Nature.
Gotcha. Let's see. So I assume Cardinal for myself
Cardinal,
as well?
right? And your
Okay.
bow has a range of, I believe, 4.
Yes.
So you can shoot the heck
You
out
have
of that
either this
guy.
one or this one. You actually have pretty good odds of taking
Oh.
him out if you roll well because you have the fire. Actually,
So
is it
normally he could
fire
shoot him?
No.
No, just
The cracks right
Oh,
here
you got
indicate
that.
no line of
So
sight.
this is the only one you can see at the
Okay.
moment.
What you could choose to do, though, is you could use your Blighted Seeds to go ahead and drop your last Thorn Patch right under you and spend an action to either teleport here or here. And that'll let you move so you can get within range and shoot the big guy with your bow.
Gotcha.
So you got a lot of choices. They're all pretty good.
If I moved here, I technically wouldn't be able to hit him, correct?
You can actually move here because
And
you drop one that doesn't cost an action to drop one. It's just an
Correct.
energy. Then you can teleport to here for one action, move here, and you would still because you can see through models. That doesn't
Okay.
matter. And so you could actually shoot him there, and be out of really good range, and not really have anything coming at you, which isn't bad because this guy still has to walk to get to us. He's not really a threat until
Not
he
yet.
reaches over here. And so
His range is 3. Okay. Yeah, so let's do that. I have 1. So we'll drop it up underneath.
All right, and then you use, it's called, I believe, Everything All is Connected. It costs 1 energy and 1 action, so just spend an energy off your character. And that lets you teleport from here. And I think you wanted to jump to this point here.
Yep. And then we're going
Right.
to move 1. That takes an energy too,
Nope.
correct?
doesn't take an energy, just an
Okay,
action.
Just an action. And then I will attack. Big dude.
Awesome. And if you really want to decimate him, you can spend an energy to use Arcane Arrow, which lets you add your Arcane stat to your precision.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can add a judgment, which
Yep.
I really should have on the spiders.
So I'll use an energy to use the arcane arrow, and then I'll use one of my judgment.
All right, so that means you're going to roll 3 dice. And any doubles is actually a crit, so let's see if you can get that in here.
I shouldn't have told him.
Oh,
Okay.
Alright.
so
Better than that 1 that you got.
that is still a hit, though. So what's the damage on your bow?
Damage is 2.
All right, so 2, we've been kind of wiping people out when we do things. However, the big guys here, we'll notice, have armor 1 and 3 health. So they're going to reduce that 2 to 1. And so he's still alive and kicking, or alive and swinging, which is much worse.
So close.
All right, so that was a teleport, a move, and a shoot. So that's all
That's all
3
3,
actions.
yep.
All right.
Hang on just a sec. I'm gonna swap out cards. This guy's like, I got 2 minutes left.
Do you want to restart the audio too? No. Do we need to reclap?
I'll clear my throat real fast, though.
Yep.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Gather, man. You've been nothing but a disappointment.
Says the guy that took 15 takes.
Hey, a known quantity is a known quantity.
Gen Con 2015.
These are great.
It's all right. The experienced guy has been making all the mistakes. Right? He didn't get rid of the environment. You didn't do that.
I didn't use this to
You
kill.
didn't use that to increase your might.
There's like 3 things I could have done.
You
that
didn't
would've
even
been
play
better.
the event for the first turn.
Oh, I didn't know we're playing.
Ready?
I didn't know we're starting off.
Yeah, it's no game, so yeah.
Okay.
All right, so next up is War. War is one of my favorite characters here. She is, of course, the horseman of the apocalypse, although she's found a much more suited steed. Beginning with War here, you have quite a bit of guys up in your face. You can use your always attacking in order to make 2 attacks as 1 action, as long as you hit with the first. Now, note you can still only use each weapon once, but it'll let you do other things. Something that we haven't done yet that you could take advantage of is you can do an action to take cover. And take cover increases your dodge save by 2, meaning you evade on a 4-up rather than a 6-up. And with 3 health left, that's probably not a bad idea.
All right. So I'll use one of my actions to take cover,
Alrighty.
and then I don't like that big guy in my face. So I'll use a second action to go ahead and try to take him out.
Alright, I stole all the dice from you. So he has a defense of 11.
All right.
Now, at the beginning here, you upkept attack pattern, which means you have +2 to your attack stat. So your attack's actually pretty high. So you look at the might on your character. which War is a big beefy lady, so she got a might of 4.
Might of 4.
Attack pattern is +2,
Plus
so that's
2.
6. And if you're attacking with Bellum, it's got an attack bonus of 0, but still you're looking at not needing that high of a number to hit. So you can either just swing with your 2 dice, or you can spend one of those Judgment like the Avatar did and hope to get big numbers.
I mean, I like overkill, so I'm going with the big numbers.
All right.
So I got my 2 dice here, and I'm looking for an
3
11.
dice.
3 dice.
Yep, 3 dice.
Even
because the
better.
Judgment adds it.
Ah, yeah, the Judgment. Here we go. That was not amazing.
More disappointment.
Well, you do still hit.
Yeah, you do still hit because that's 7, 7, and 6 hits.
Yep.
So what is the damage on Bellum?
My damage is 2.
All right. So again, he reduces that damage by 1. He's got 1 health left.
You still have 1 action, so you can use Monstrum to attack.
Okay, so now I'm taking my trusty steed. And so,
Which
Right.
this one, you've got what
This
else?
time you're at attack of
Make a
7
basic
because he's
attack.
got
So
1
you only
higher
need a
attack.
4 to hit, which
and I'm rolling 2 dice,
yeah,
correct?
which could fail.
There we go.
Oh,
It's your best
so
roll all day.
you didn't even get that on the fire weapon, which is sad because that
Yeah.
would have been awesome. So you do hit 2 damage. That will wipe him out. Now
Right.
the big guys actually drop D3 bits. If anybody's played a tabletop game, roll D6, cut it in half.
All right.
3. So he's
bits.
going to drop 3 big ones here.
Chunks.
All right. And that's really helpful for me later on. So, now we would move on to the bad guys going last, which are the failed experiments. We only have 1 on the board, so he just lumbers 1 step closer to us thanks to you.
That's right.
And that will be the end of our very first mid-game turn. We'll go ahead and start up a new round.
So starting up every round, you flip an event card. This one is the Calm Force, so there's no effect on that one, which is good for us. Doesn't really do anything.
These are random. So in between each game, when you're building your event deck, you actually get a set number of random cards for the mission. So while you may see this nice one here this turn, you're not going to see it later in another mission.
Yeah, and as far as the game's concerned, it's good to note these event cards are how long you have to finish the scenario. If you run out of event cards, you either have already finished or you lose.
And in particular scenarios have certain events in the deck.
Yes, and certain ones will get added based on what you do. For example, there is a later mission, which depending on if we rescue Rosie or defeat her and kill her, things will happen later on. She may show up to help us, or if she's dead, they rally it to get revenge on what you've done to their leader. So the choices you make, which may seem 100% beneficial now, may not be in the future.
Yeah, but everything goes towards building the scenario in later games.
The one last thing we do on this card, there was no effect. However, we do have a spawn location. It does say Group B.
Yeah.
I went ahead and just lined these up for us to make it easy. Group A, B, C. So we have Group B spawning, and it spawns
Spawn
one
one.
guy. Now you may notice that the Tesla guys on their card have a little Tesla coil gun, and in certain places on the map, like right here, we have little Tesla coil guns. This is how we indicate where they're going to spawn. They will always spawn as close to a Nephilim as possible on a tile with no other enemies in which they could spawn. And it may sound a little complicated at first, but really it's kind of simple. We're going to look at the board, and really an easy spot is to go, where do we see a Tesla gun? Here. It's close to War by 2 squares. Is there one closer? Well, there's one on this square here, but there's a guy in it. So we drop him here. Not that hard. And now we begin the round anew, again with Hilder hopefully trying to do some good.
Yeah.
The one last thing we do before that, though, is we all ready our exhausted cards. This takes them from being in use to not in use.
All right, I'm going to actually remember my card this time. So I'm going to do similar. I'm not going to spend the movement yet because I might need it later, but I'm going to move 1 action to go back in here. I'm going to do that same attack I did last time, except I'm going to use the Judgment this time. And that will definitely do it. And one thing to note, because we had that 5 and a 6, this is a fire weapon, which means that it normally does 1 damage. I actually did 3 damage on this one. Not that I needed to kill spiders, but if I was going out of one of those guys, yeah, I can actually drop them in 1 shot, which is pretty awesome.
Some of the more stable weapons that have higher attacks that you can tend to build will have a static number. So you can have reliable. I know I'm always going to do a certain number of damage. Or you can go a little bit high risk and go, hey, I'm going to throw as many dice as this is possible and be a little bit crazy, and I'm going to try to get a lot of 5s and 6s to just blow up the damage and just burninate this guy.
All right, so I've used 2 actions so far. Still got 1 left. I still have 2 of these, which I can use to move, which I'm actually going to, I believe.
The only other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop in the bits from the 3 spiders he just killed.
Yeah. Which will automatically.
Because I took the upgrade mine, toss it to me. You guys are nice enough to pick up the discarded bits and toss it to me. So I will collect it and, add it to my batch.
All right, and we still haven't found any clues which get us towards finding Rosie. And so, well, I'll keep these ones. Moving right now is going to help me a whole lot. She really needs the energy to move around. So I'm running really low. She can normally actually have up to 10. And so I'm going to actually use my last action to try and get those back. And so what I get to do there is I get to roll a d6 and add it to my arcane stat. And so, not a whole lot, but she has a decent arcane stat. She's got 2. So that'll put me back up to 5. So at least next turn, I'll have a little bit more that I can do.
Okay, so if you roll a 6 plus your arcane, it would have
Yeah, so you're going to go down, like Mo has a really good arcane stat, and so he almost always gets back 5 or 6.
And unfortunately, War is not tied into the arcane ether and does not have a very high one.
No.
All right, was that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn, yes.
All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I am going to remember this time.
Oh.
And I'm going to get rid of this one.
So go ahead and read that one off.
Yeah, so it's Darkness Overwhelms. Just discard 1 environmental event play. Doesn't take an action, but I do have to exhaust it, so I can only do it once per turn, which I really should have done the first turn. But
And these skills, are they static with the characters?
No. You will have a total of 6 starter cards to choose from and kind of customize how you want to take your character. After that, each mission grants you 1 XP. We're playing the second mission right now, so we each have gotten an additional card. Mine, for example, is Frail Bone Hex. And that lets you kind of build in the direction you want your character to go. For example, Mo can build different constructs like skeletons and things like that with his bits. Or he can choose to debuff, create hexes. War can go more tanky, or she can go an all-out beat stick that just runs around the board. It sends how you want to play your character and how it builds with the party, because we are all working together. With that in mind, the next step is the spiders. And I can't help but notice that I'm being left more and more to die here. So this one moves up just to get a bit closer to me. I now have 2 flanking me, so I'm going to have to make 2 saves. First one for 0 damage. I don't save. Unfortunately, it's not a human, it's a spider, so I don't get my human disguise. And then the second one, I also don't. So Mo is now down to 2 wounds. This is something you guys really want to know about, because most bits are a little unique. They're magically infused. And if Mo goes down, all of the stuff in his backpack blows up. And that can affect the party around him. Or if we get lucky and smart, we can plan it to take out the enemies.
he's a mobile bomb if you use him right. It's pretty fun.
So yeah, so that will be the end of the spiders, because we had dropped them down to just 2 thanks to Hilder. After that will actually be Mo. Now this is where Mo seemed really powerful earlier when I used one guy to beat the crap out of another. But when you don't have a ton of guys drawing line of sight to one another, it kind of weakens them a bit. I've lucked out. I've got this one right here, which can draw line of sight to the other Tesla we just spawned. So I'm going to drop 2 more energy and 2 more bits. And I'm going to see if he can shoot off and kill this guy. If we look, again, range 3, 3 hits, so I roll 3 dice. I need 4 up, cause damage. Nothing there. So while that isn't an action, it's taking my resources. So I'm going to try it again. I'm running out all my bits here. Ooh. So this is only going to do 1 damage. Now this is where we kind of want to look at what we can do at the beginning of each turn and how it gets tactical. Had Ty not gotten rid of high voltage, that would have been a 2 damage shot and it would have killed him. Way to go. After that,
I stand by my decision.
I'm feeling
right.
pretty at risk here. So I'm going to take cover much like you did for my first action. I'm going to rest. Thanks to my arcane stat of 4, I will gain 7 back. 4, 6, 7. And I'm going to try one more time with this. Now guys, I am running out of bits here, so my effectiveness definitely goes down the more I'm out of those.
There it is.
And sure enough, the Tesla cannon goes off and obliterates this guy.
Peace.
So I have taken cover. I have rested. I did a bunch of little no actions here. And so the last thing I will do is move closer to war because you're my buddy and I don't want to get killed. All right. Now that Mo has gone, we again are going to jump to the Tesla Enforcers.
So after me.
That guy way down there just moves one step closer, thankfully. And then
That one's
Tesla's right
me.
next. This is actually something we want to look at here because we haven't had it happen yet. Tesla's been firing their cannon mostly, right? However, when they are adjacent or in the same square as a non-large model, they have to switch to a melee. So they actually have a Tesla gauntlet, which does 2 hits at 1 damage each. So he actually needs to make 2 saves rather than normal.
Which I will fail them both. So I'm going to take 2 points.
All right, that's the end of them. This is going pretty quickly from what we've eliminated. Avatar of Nature.
There's not a whole lot to kill out here, and honestly, we
No.
need to start getting clues to find Rosie before we run through this.
Okay.
Your guy is actually the best at that, and so I would say this one here. This one, it's turned over right now, just like a pile of trash.
Okay.
When you get close to it and step something, it's going to flip over, so
Okay.
that's where someone's hiding, so you can actually question them.
Gotcha.
And you've got enough actions to get over there, as well as get back fast if you need to. So I'd say that's probably your best move in the moment. Because these guys have already done their damage, so they're not going to do anything else to us.
So that is 1, 2.
Yeah,
And then an
1,
action
2.
to search
This will
for
automatically
clues.
flip as soon as you get.
So that's
Basically,
all
when you move
3.
here.
So you want to roll a d6 and get a 4 up to find a successful clue.
Uh-oh.
All right, you succeed. Now here's the nice thing about the Avatar of Nature. Even if you hadn't succeeded, he has an ability, kind of like our innate ones we have, called If Nature Wills It. It's up here on his card. And what it says is once per turn with a non-attack action, you can go ahead and re-roll, you could go ahead and place the die on any number you want. So you could have made sure this succeeded, or you could make sure a dodge goes off correctly.
Yeah,
It's
you've
your
got
call.
options, which is cool.
So
that's 1.
we find 1 clue. We're getting closer to finding her. We need 4. And this bystander is removed. You can only ever successfully interact with them once. If we run out of bystanders, well, we got to start looking for clues on the monsters, and that's a lot harder.
One thing we haven't really done, just because we haven't moved over them very much, these ones here, you don't have to take an action, but when you move into that square, or if you move on, whatever, you can spend 1 energy to turn this, flip it over, and it'll give you a token which can help you with boosting your attack, boosting your defense, things like that.
Okay.
All right. So that was everything you could do, but you got us 1 step closer to finding Rosie. Next up is going to be War.
All right. So I don't think War is going to be able to interface with civilians all that well, if I had to guess.
You're probably not the best. You're a little more terrifying than anything.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to take 1 action to move here.
Mhm.
And then Tesla is going to get smacked down.
All right.
Do it to it.
Yep.
One thing we didn't do at the beginning of the turn, I apologize. Did you want to upkeep attack pattern for your attack
yeah,
bonus?
I did. I needed to spend my 2 energy. And so everybody else gets +2. Everybody close to me.
Close is always
Yeah, if
indicating
anyone was
cardinal.
here,
Okay.
they would get a bonus. So where I'm standing here, even though I'm near you, I wouldn't get it.
All right. And so
Cardinal.
the standard
Yeah, you
attack
gotta
is 2,
kinda
so
plan
if
out
I
what
don't
you're
want to
doing.
spend my judgment.
It's really good for him, though.
Yep,
He can
if you
stand
don't wanna
there
spend your
and
judgment,
shoot
you just
all
do
over
2
the
dice.
place.
All right, and I'm looking to
Fine.
beat a...
Tesla's a defense 12. They're a little more feisty.
Oh, yeah, they are. All right, so here we go. All right.
Oh, nice. So
And
this
you
is
got
something
fire.
we actually haven't had happen before. So your base damage is 2, right? You got 2 5s, so you just light it on fire like crazy. Your damage goes up to 4. It's only got 2 health. Normally, doubles is a crit. It still is in this case. However, one unique mechanic in this is each weapon has a crit capacity. That is the number of crit tokens you can save for later use.
Oh, all right, and I see I have a crit.
Yeah, and since
crit
you don't
capacity
need
of
it to
1
kill this
Right.
guy, you can save it. You don't
I
have to
can
put it in
bank
this
it.
attack.
Right. So we'll go ahead and just use an energy rather than grabbing another token for this. And you just put it on your weapon. And later when you barely hit and kind of want to get that extra finishing blow off, you can choose to spend it, even if you get a crit on that attack.
Okay.
So you can bank on later success by putting some penalties on your current.
Over crit.
This guy.
But you've destroyed him. he drops another bit. That was 2 actions. You have a third.
I have a third action.
You are standing on top of a guy.
You could give it a shot.
Let's
So
go.
you just need a 4-up.
All right, you need a 4-up.
Me and Monstrum, we're gonna be friendly. Here we go.
Yeah.
You are.
What's
You
up?
force information out of him, and we get another clue, getting one step closer to finding Rosie.
Right on.
All right. Now, again, the big guys go. He moves one step closer. We've actually lucked out quite a bit. The guys are pretty far away, and we've been pretty tactical about limiting who is out there. Campaign-wise, we're not getting paid much for this. Normally, we would want soul gems to help get new items. Maybe you want to get a human disguise. I don't know that you'd look good in it, but maybe. Things like that to just increase us, because next mission, the enemies are going to get harder. And if we don't get new stuff, it's going to be a lot harder to win.
All right, so next turn, start with an event. This one is leaps and bounds. Failed experiments go first this round, which is actually pretty.
Wanna show 'em the
well,
card?
no, it's gonna be good. Yeah, so,
So-
they go first round.
So you'll notice you can always tell what it is because, first of all, it's got a failed experiment on it. Again, we'll see here that it spawns. It spawns on a sword location, and we only spawn 1. So, if you guys want to help me, what's the nearest sword location to a hero?
Right here.
So would we pick
Oh.
the majority of
Right.
heroes?
We could do it either here or here, because either way, it's going to be adjacent. But we can be a horrible person and put it here. Now, like you said, leaps and bounds. Failed experiments go first. So we haven't interacted with large models before. Large models get to push smaller models. So when the bulk of the failed experiment moves in, he actually pushes the spider to the next square.
Which kills that token, unfortunately.
Yes, sadly, spider enters it, and he eats the bystander.
Which
That's-
you really have to pay attention when there's lots of spiders, because they can take all the stuff you need off the table.
In addition, there are
There's no way to
penalties
win.
in future missions,
Well,
depending
it
on
just
how
means
many
you have to
bystanders
actually-
you let
You have to
die.
start interacting with them instead of the tokens, and it's a lot harder to deal with. So it won't actually completely hose you, but it definitely makes it more difficult.
So, normally we'd feel pretty safe here. However, the failed experiments have a range of 2, which means this guy has Hilder completely within range.
Yeah.
So, Hilder needs to make a dodge against 2 hits. And we saw this thing obliterate somebody earlier, so we know it's pretty nasty.
Yes, it is.
Oof.
You said
That
when you should
will
say.
actually drop me in.
So-
How far do I go?
Let's actually look at this real fast. So, it's 2 hits for 6 damage. Now, he has a special rule called Slam. Whenever he hits you, every damage you take pushes you back that many squares. Each square you cannot get pushed, you take another damage. So, Hilder can move through these guys because she has enough movement, but she stops here after only 2 movement. After taking 6 damage, it's a whopping 10. That would drop almost anybody.
Yeah, which I can stop 1, but it doesn't help me.
With that, because Nephilim went down, we're going to be drawing an extra event card next turn. So we'll go ahead and set that aside to remember it.
Boy.
In addition, we're going to have to draw an injury card when Hilder tries to stand back up on her turn. Next up, we have this guy right here. And hey, what do you know? He's looking war right down the barrel of his bone.
Yeah, and me being down, even if I had a higher threat, once you're dead, they're not a target anymore until you stand back up.
All right, so here
So
we go.
he's got 2 hits. You want a 6-up.
2 6s.
Oh, did you
no.
take cover?
I did not take cover.
No, not
Oh,
this
No,
sad.
I found a clue.
Yeah.
I was being polite and friendly. And
That's what I was your friendly. Luckily, you're a large base. You resist the slam effect.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's still 6 damage, and even with your 3 armor, that's going to knock you down. Again, the damage piles on. We draw another event card.
This you really got to watch because this is going down fast when that starts happening.
And this is the mission timer, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so if all 4 of us ever get knocked down in a round?
Then we draw 4 new
It
cards.
just means
Okay,
you're
so
burned.
that's
You'll
not,
actually-
not
you'll-
mission over,
Right, you'll
Yeah.
witness a
Going
stand up.
down doesn't end anything. It just makes it more difficult, and the injury that you pull could be nothing to you or really annoying.
So this is where you guys can actually witness something new here.
Okay.
So they've gone. Now it's Hilder's turn. Hilder went down, so Hilder's going to have to get back up and kind of rally herself. So what she's going to do is roll 2d6 and add her fervor. This is her ability just to get back in the fight and be ready to take on more stuff.
Which is not bad. So yeah, so I've got a fervor of 2. I rolled an 8. I've only got 10 health, so I'm actually back up to full life.
All right.
Okay.
But every time you go down,
Sounds good.
you draw an event card equal to the number of time, an injury card equal to the number of times you went down. So she needs to draw an injury card to see if she
So
can
first
resist
injury
it.
card, it's a pulled muscle. Severity, it's got different severity limits on here. There's severity 1, severity 2. The difference there is, say I go down again, I have to pull 2. You always have to take the worst of the severities. And so your injuries are going to get nastier each time.
Internal hemorrhaging is always a little bit worse than a pulled muscle.
You'd think.
This is pretty bad, though. It's
And
minus
so are
1.
these persistent?
Yeah, this
This is persistent
Yeah.
unless she resists it with a check here.
Okay.
so this one's minus 1 might, if it happens.
And will this also follow mission to mission?
It will unless you clear it off, which is kind of what we want these for, because you can spend these to heal off your injuries as we go back and retreat and prepare for our next adventure.
And this one, I'm rolling 1 dice, right?
2d6. And so she
Oh,
adds
it's
her,
on yeah.
her, I believe, might to this. What's the check?
Might
On
10.
this one, yeah, this one's might 10. My might is a 3, which means I need a 7 to resist it.
You can do
Which,
it.
She does.
did.
So
Yeah,
she
good job.
resists it. Now, even though she resisted it, if she goes down again,
I'm still
she
rolling
draws
2.
2 cards and takes the worst one.
So it just gets harder and harder each time we
Okay.
go down.
All right, but she is up and she is ready to take on the world.
All right. I have energy. Got my sword. I'm just gonna see what I can do about that guy. See if I get lucky. So I'm going to throw a judgment at it. Use my first action to attack.
We use guided hand.
Which is I can use guided hand. I might as well do
And
it.
then come back right when we're finishing it, or do you want to do long form?
Just let it go.
Okay.
And so yeah, I will actually use guided hand on this one. That lets me add an additional die and drop any one of them I don't want.
So because she spent a judgment,
Okay.
oh wow.
So well, kind of good stuff. I was hoping to get a 5 or 6 to get my fire, but at least I got doubles, so I can get crit, and I definitely hit. And so that puts me at. I'm going to use the crit because there's no reason not to. I'm doing damage 2. He's got armor 1, which means I still only do 1 damage. But this is a dual weapon. I get to use it again. This time I'm going to do it. I'll just use the judgment. Obviously, I can't use this again because I already have. But what's he 10 or?
He is an 11.
Okay, he's an 11. So I rolled a 7. I've got a 3, which means I would miss, except this is the one I did not use the first turn. I'm going to use this to add 1 might on there, which gives me the 11 I need to hit. And I've got fire, which means I will do a damage.
And with 2 1s, that's a crit.
That's a crit.
So you can see your little dice mechanics as you play with it can add up and create big hits when they normally wouldn't.
Yeah, so that'll
So
just take him out.
he explodes in fiery critical goodness. Why don't you go ahead and roll us a D3? Mo needs more bits.
3.
Ooh, 3 more.
The bit back.
And it can be a sad day when the spider moves over a pile like this and eats them all. All right. After Hilda, we're going to move on to the spiders. Again, you guys are not stopping Mo from getting eaten by spiders. That's not a good thing. So the first one, and again, even though it's 0 damage, I need to dodge or hope to, just in case I. No,
He needs to mosey on out of there.
that is fantastic and horrible.
Add a badumts to that.
All right.
Hey, there we go.
The second one I
Dad
do
jokes
dodge, I
over
don't take
there.
that damage, thankfully.
Oh, I didn't actually finish my turn
A
though.
little hurt from that pun.
Before he does that, that was just my first action. Or my second
Oh.
action, so I have 1 more.
Oops. You guys can edit that, right?
So I'm actually going to go in here. That way you'll have the bits. And I'll spend my energy to pick this up, which we've never done yet. And so that just gives you a token. There's 3 different types.
3 different types that we can use for this mission. The scroll is essentially like Hilder's guided hand. Roll an extra die, get rid of one you don't like. There's also a talisman that says, hey, discard me, get 1 armor. And then the last one is there's a couple bits hidden around on this map that you could theoretically find. Not good for you, fantastic for me.
Which is done.
So now that Hilder is officially done, the spiders have gone, and we're on to Mo. And Mo is not liking this, so Mo is going to move over, pick up his bit, and I'm going to ask some very specific questions to that bystander who just revealed himself. That is not good. I got 1 more action, so let's see if I can get it. Oh, that is bad. That
Mo,
is
Mo
really
just told
bad.
that joke I told as well.
All right, we got the archer now. So this is actually pretty fantastic, and this is one thing that you're great for. Even though you're way over there, you can drop your seeds.
Take one of the other ones.
Yep,
Move.
and get much closer.
Questions, which one?
We don't have a lot going on over there anymore, except for that guy we keep avoiding. We don't like them. So you could theoretically get rid of that one.
Yeah, so I can take that. Put it here. And that costs me nothing.
Nope, because you're using your blighted seeds.
And then
Now, this does take an energy and an
To
action
move.
to move.
Yeah. 1 energy, right?
Hmm. But you come here and ask this guy the same question I did, only not tell a pun.
So we'll go here.
It's 1 action. You can move him for 2.
2.
And then search for that clue. D6, you need a 4 up.
There it is.
You don't even need to use your ability. You're getting all the answers.
I was going to if I missed.
So
All right.
Another clue.
Another clue. We need 1 more to reveal her. And she does appear over here. That's why I'm tossing it over there. So we might want to start making our way over there.
Okay.
That should be the end for you, right?
That is 3, yep.
So we now move on to, unfortunately, the last in the order here, which is going to be war.
Oh boy.
So I get to attempt to stand up.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
He would have just moved forward, but
He
you
would
should have
move
gone
forward.
before.
It
that.
doesn't anything. So yeah, you get to stand up. So what's your fervor?
My fervor is 4.
Right? Because she's war. She's awesome. She's all about going.
And my total health is 14.
Which you actually maxed out.
You
I'm
are at
14.
full health.
War is one of those characters. She obviously has a lot of health, but she doesn't always get back up there once she goes down because that's a lot to try to
So
recover.
injury card.
And
We'll see
I
if you
have
can resist.
to resist bleeding out at an arcane 12. Well, since I'm so good at arcane,
Oh,
and this is
you're
severity 3,
Right.
so
You're SOL, buddy.
hey now.
So what's your arcane stat?
My arcane stat is a 1.
11.
All right, so
5 and a 6.
yep, here comes.
Oh, so close. All right. So what's bleeding out do?
So suffer 1 damage at
Not
the end of
keeping
each
you
round. So at
dangerous.
least it's not that bad because I got a
Right.
full
If it was
health.
going to go on anybody, we're glad it was you.
Yep.
And again, that can be gotten rid of in between missions, or if you draw a severity 4 or 5 injury and fail that check.
Yeah, you don't ever have 2 injuries. You'll replace with the worst
Oh,
of
okay.
whichever one they are, or you can get rid of them, like say at the end of the round. But if you don't, if you feel like saving it or buying equipment with your soul stones, at the end of it, basically, it'll just carry over until you decide to get rid of it
So
somehow.
if you want to start that next mission bleeding out so you can buy another cool sword, that's all up to you.
Hey, you know. So what happens? So if I move here, and then push the spider into the big brute.
So it's a very simple mechanic on pushing. When you move into something square, it pushes one away. If it cannot, it moves to the square you were in.
Okay.
So Hilder would move over 1, and the spider would simply move back 1, if that is the pattern you choose.
Well, in that case, yeah, Hilder, sorry, pal. It's spider time.
You're gonna kill the spider this time?
Yep.
Now, one thing you haven't used this game yet is you can use your always attacking to try to hit and get an extra free attack with Monstrum.
And yeah, let's do that.
All right.
So if I hit with the attack, then I get to make a basic attack.
You will notice on that card, the might is 3 rather than your normal 4. All right, because you're getting a little reckless. You're going wild here. So your might drops to 3. You've got attack pattern up. That's 2. So you're at a 5. And the spider's at a 10. So you have 5. There we go. And your sword easily gets rid of this little guy here.
On comes bits.
DED dead.
That was all your movement, unfortunately, so you can't go any further.
Yep.
If you did, you could have attacked the big guy. Normally, he would have gone at the end of the round, but due to leaps and bounds this past turn, he went first. So this is the end of the round.
All right, guys, we've found Rosie, and we are about to decide whether we want to kill her or redeem her.
All right, so Rosie has appeared, and if anybody is familiar with the iconic person, Rosie, she has an ability called Yes We Can. Yes We Can says this: all other all other enemies on the board get 1 additional hit on any of their actions, which means they come out swinging and swinging harder. She has initiative 8, so she's not going to be first. We do still start with the top of the order, which is Hild, who, after some maneuvers, is a little bit far back and not quite as close as she needs to be.
So, I could go up and try and kill this one, but I think I might leave it for Mo to mess with if we need to. So I'm going to take a swing at this guy first. We got no judgment left, so just regular swing. I'll use guided hand though. Alright.
Crit City.
So do that. I got my crit. There's 1, but he has 2. No fire, so I'm just going to do 1 damage.
Oh no, the crit will up it by 1 to 2.
I think you don't.
Nope, he has no armor.
Oh, okay, cool. Then he's dead. Good
So
stuff.
DED dead.
DED. So you drop another bit. I forgot about this one. So thanks to mine, toss it to me. She will toss it.
And I'll just move around the corner
have a hand.
and pick this one up.
Give me a hand. Hey.
And she is
Dad
done.
jokes
Please
Sit
don't
over
stop
here.
filming over that. I
That
apologize.
event first. Right. So system malfunction, no event of this one, so we don't have to worry about it. So my missing it won't matter.
All right. Next up would be the spiders. We don't have a whole lot going on. The spiders just kind of move up and do a little bit of no damage here. But now we do have Rosie to deal with. So Rosie comes out the gate, and she comes out the gate swinging. As a boss, she gets 2 actions outside of her just normal move. So she'll go and move up. Now the first thing we need to do is you need to dodge her Riveter. So her Riveter hits 4. Her ability doesn't affect herself, so you need to make 4 saves at 1 damage each.
Oh, war ain't scared.
War ain't scared.
That's how you roll dice, people. See?
That is high. So you dodged 2 of them, so you're only going to take 2 damage.
I'm actually going to use my bracers of might. 1 damage.
1 damage. All right. Now you need to dodge her secondary attack, which is the right cross. It's 1 save, but it's for 4 damage.
Alright.
Dang.
Well, here it is.
Ooh.
That's not good.
But you've still got practically armored.
I do have practically armored.
So you can exhaust that and
I'm gonna
reduce
go
it
ahead
by
and
2.
exhaust that. And so I take 2 damage. I still have 5. We're fine. We're fine.
We are fine.
We're
We
fine,
okay.
people.
We okay.
We are going to jump down now in the order to Mo. Mo is going to move. 1, 2. And I think we can save her. So I may not be able to save her very well. Mo is going to use blood magic because that's what Mo does. And Mo is going to make the big failed experiment attack Rosie. Unfortunately for Rosie, she has inspired him to great heights of beating people in the face. And so he's going to roll 3 dice against her, 3 damage each. Only 1 force, that's 3. Her armor is 1, so she's going to take 2 damage. Well, she's got 6 health, so do I want to risk it again? We'll see if we do.
Yeah.
Why not?
All right.
So in
Gonna
order
soften her
to redeem her.
We would need to reduce her to 1 health and then make a fervor check of 10
Okay.
to kind of inspire and rally her
You gotta
back to the
counterpage
good
this,
side.
which means theoretically this guy can just blow her up.
So who? Travis has the highest fervor, so you would basically want him to be the one to try and redeem her.
Or, for example, we could have you do it.
Since
you may
I
have a
can
little
reroll.
fervor. Right, you can choose which die goes to a 6,
True.
which means now you essentially have a 7. You need, 3
Yep.
on your other die. So, I'll ask again, do we want to redeem her and go for the party buff? Or do I want to try to kill her, in which case I get her Riveter?
Well, I tell you, you take a swing. If you leave her at 1, we'll redeem her. If you
All
don't,
right. Sounds good to me.
And then she needs to be redeemed.
So that's 2 hits, that's 6 damage. Unfortunately, she only has armor 1.
She did.
So, yeah, Rosie is sadly going to go down. And because she goes down, I'll go ahead and grab this for us. Mo has gotten the Riveter, which is a really awesome weapon. In addition, because we have gotten a moderate victory on beating Rosie, we have gotten the Love Letter event. It's nothing too terrible. It says we draw 2 additional event cards when we draw it. So it's essentially a quick draw to get further in the deck. And it's, from Rosie, a little bit of love.
And so this event doesn't trigger now, it triggers in future
In
scenarios.
future scenarios, it will forever be added to our event deck, so we'll forever have to live with the fact that Mo used a big monster to beat her to death.
Excellent. So your decisions have consequences, people. One thing we didn't show too, because we started the demo after we'd taken quite a few turns, is the board here is actually modular. And so you have to explore around building the board, Castle Ravenloft, Shadows of Brimstone style. Hey, thanks for sticking with us for our gameplay demo of Nephilim Final Judgment. This game looks rad. Check it out. It'll be on Kickstarter soon. Okay. The game will be on Kickstarter soon, so keep your eye out for it.